And we're back, folks. I'm here with Eileen today. Eileen, do you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Hello, guys, gals, and people that identify as trees. I'm a fan of you also. What's up?
Good news about this episode, though. This is the N-Word Pass special episode because I was able to track down a minority this time, so that's good.
What's good, my niggas? How you doing, baby? Yes.
Where do you say you're from, Eileen? Half the time I talk to you, you say you're like from Barbosian or something?
A little bit of Barbados here and there. Me and Rihanna are closely related. We've shared lipsticks in the past. No. So, just to let you guys know, I am a super cool Caribbean immigrant. I am from Havana, Cuba. I came here at the tender age of 4. I live in Florida. So, coronavirus central for all of you that haven't been paying attention to the news. So, retards galore. I live in the part where they care less about their health and more about partying. So as you can see, I come from a very cultural place to begin with, where brown people and white people mix together and share toothpaste, to a city where just the same happens, but with, lots more coke and less respect. So I come from very colorful places here and there.
And we're talking about a very special topic this week. The topic any immigrant from America to America would want to talk about. We're talking about video games.
Yes. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, right? Well, specifically, we're going to talk about horror games. And you gave me 2 options when you wanted to come on the show, Eileen. You said we could talk about Neon Genesis Evangelion, which has been talked to death by every anime podcast ever, or you gave me the option that we could talk about horror games. So we chose horror games, a bit of a different approach, but that's apparently what you're the most passionate about, huh?
Yes, those are the 2 things that honestly have, like, my drive, my run, like, it's the 2 things that I get grand autismo about. So that's my special interests for you. Okay. So I know the most about both of these things. And bitch, get ready, y'all gonna get an earful.
Okay, and so then I guess we should start out. If you were to take the horror games from the last 30 years, let's start all the way back in 1988. So we're talking like PC only horror games. If you were to pick 3 horror games that you say are just the best of the best, what would you say?
Sir, that is too far back for me. You are old. I was born in 93.
Okay. Okay, that's fair, but I mean, like,
I'm gonna hit you with some early ones. I'm not missing much?
Well, no, you're not, because I actually think that horror games as a genre is one of the few things where it has progressively gotten better with time. And so it's just because the mechanics necessary to make a horror game truly horrifying, you absolutely need to get as immersive as possible. Like, first-person perspective, in my opinion, is absolutely necessary to be scary. There are a lot of aspects that make a horror game scary, but we could not do that in the late 80s and early 90s. A lot of people like to throw back, I don't know if you ever played, like, on the Super Nintendo, the original Clock Tower, but that game is awful.
That's what I was gonna get to, actually. Like, I got to, actually, and I fucking, listen. PS1 Clock Tower is one of those games that I have always wanted to own and hold in my hands, because the experience I had with the SNES one was literally... So, part of being an immigrant is you get the hookup for a lot of weird shit. In Cuba, we have access to a lot of things, like anime and crap, through third parties. Like, your cousin burns you a DVD. Oh, yeah. So
Oh, no. I got stories. I got a buddy who lives in Argentina who told me the story of when he saw a guy get stabbed over a freaking Goku statue, like a $20 Goku statue.
Oh my god, that was me.
No, he talks about it all the time. He's like, yeah, I like to go to the comic shops and I like to get stuff. He's like, but last time I was there, I saw 2 guys fighting over a Goku statue and figure, and one of them ended up stabbing the other. And I was like, oh, okay.
So this is an appropriate reaction to this sort of thing. Yeah, totally. Gucci. But no, that's a way to die. Fuck, man. Did he die?
Well, I don't know. Like, you'd actually be surprised how much stabbing doesn't kill people.
You know?
Like a lot of people we like see the movies where like somebody takes a dagger to the stomach and they're dead 20 seconds later. I actually had a buddy who was a prison guard and he's like, yeah, I've seen a dude get meat grindered before and he was totally fine the next day. He just has like 30 stab wound stitches.
What are these Moth? What are these friends that you have, bro? What?
The funny thing is, Mike and Frog on my main podcast when we talk, Mike and Frog are always like, where does any of this come from, Moth? Because they don't seem to believe that a guy who grew up in Alaska in the Midwest and like is happily Mormon has all these stories. But like, I've always spent my life talking to people. I don't mind talking to people. I'll talk to a prison guard. I'll talk to a gangbanger. I'll talk to literally everybody because I love talking to them. I pick up hitchhikers all the time. I could tell you all about the cannery business in Alaska thanks to a hitchhiker.
Oh my fucking God. Like, listen, that social ability is great and all, but I'm the same way. I will activate conversation with the local crackhead, like trying to buy my my ethnic groceries, and those people have tales. They like to talk about how oh man, I'll get into it later, but like there was literally a famous hobo in Cuba called like the Spanish translation would be the gentleman, I'm sorry, the Spanish to English translation would be the gentleman of Paris. So he was quite like el caballero de Paris. So he was a literal crackhead that claimed he was a king that came from France on a boat, and he just stayed in this cosplay constantly, and people just believed him. The man has a statue like in one of our center squares, and people just believed him. He just was like some Don Quixote
he had
type
that
shit.
Natural charisma.
Yeah, no, he was like, I fucking am. And people just knew him as a legend, and he always had all these amazing war stories. And some people are like, yeah, he was telling the truth. But others say, oh, had an active imagination. No one really knows how he passed away either. He didn't really have any family or next of kin, so he has a statue commemorating him. I think that's dope that you make a legacy.
You got a statue just being a homeless man.
A homeless man he was in like, I guess to put it in terms that your himbo brain can understand. Imagine him cosplaying Luffy's dad. Like, but like okay. Dirtier, much dirtier. He's just like, suddenly I am a pirate king, and I can do whatever I want.
And it worked.
And he made his legacy like that. So yeah, I fully believe that that talking to interesting ass people, you can gain anything from a conversation from anybody. Like, people are interesting, dude. I mean, why would you be here just to keep to yourself like a fucking hiki ass, right?
Wow, I haven't heard that term in a while.
Oh my God, listen.
Hikikimori. Now we just call him Neats because Hikikimori is too hard to pronounce.
That's why I just go hiki or like heek,
Yeah, no, I got you. But we want to talk about video games. Now, I've been playing video games. I guess I found out a while back, my mother was like, yeah, we used to travel a lot for your father's work, and you always cried on planes. Well, it turns out I have like this horrible sinus issue in my dome. And it's been there since I was a kid. Like, I have not a tumor, but what are those called? A cyst. I have just like a sinoid cyst. And it's been there since I was a child, and it's like grown with me, and it's never been addressed. And I was like, hey, so about my sinoid cyst. But she's like, yeah, you used to fly on planes all the time, and we could never get you to shut up because you were in pain. So one day I was so distraught that I just bought you a Game Boy. And I was like 2 years old.
That was her solution. Oh man, you have this shitty cyst in your fucking skull. You know what's gonna make this better? A Game Boy. Here's a piece of
Apparently
square.
It did, because they never got my cyst addressed, but apparently I was much better on airplane travel after that.
Okay, it distracted you. This piece of toast distracted you from that. Oh my God, this piece of
it's so I've been playing video games, I guess I could say since 1992, when I was like a toddler and had motor skills. But I've been playing.
A year later, I arrived. So, fucking.
Yeah. And I can honestly say my first console was the Super Nintendo. I actually, because I was talking to Dave on the other episode. Like, I remember playing MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries on my PC, like on my old 95 computer. I remember getting an N64 for Christmas, and like I want to say Christmas '96. Like I do remember like video games were always a huge part of my life. horror games I have never honestly enjoyed because I feel that they rely either they're not scary or they rely too much on jump scares, which goes back to they're not scary. Five Nights at Freddy's is not scary to me. Five Nights at Freddy's is annoying.
For sure, 100% I agree with you. But you know what makes me sad as hell? And I'm about to hit you with these weird-ass controversial opinions. So, Five Nights at Freddy's...
It has a good plot?
Yes. It really pisses me off that even with the books, with all that, it's a pretty interesting story. Not good. Doesn't have to be good by any stretch of the imagination. But I have to give Scott Cawthon his props. The nigga wrote a very interesting narrative. If you actually sit there and have the patience, because I have all the patience in the world for stupid shit when I'm doing laundry, I've sat there and consumed Matt Pat's aggravating content on the matter.
My issue with Mad Pat's videos is I think at this point there are 7 different videos on game theories called The Bite of 87.
Oh yeah. There's for sure more than 10.
No, and it's like, okay, well, you know, and I know Matt Pat at least has his ghostwriters do the research, because like, I sat down and I read the book. Like, nobody reads that book. Nobody reads that book. Not even the kids who genuinely like that book at the age of 12 read that book. That book is awful. But like, it's I would say the first and second game had really good plot. The third game was absolutely unnecessary in my opinion. And the fourth game was more of the same. And then they did Sister Location after that. Game 5 was Sister Location, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they went into VR. And honestly, VR is kind of where FNAF should be.
I thought that was the prime thing. Like I watched Markiplier play it. So I'm one of those irredeemable thoughts. So shout out to any of those listening to me that also like that very annoying Asian man.
He's actually, but here's the thing about, and I think this changed recently, but what I appreciated about Markiplier is for a very, very, very long time, he was just an entertainer. And I genuinely appreciate that, where he's like, I'm going to do a Let's Play every single day. I'm going to do a video every single day. I might do like occasionally a one-off comedy routine, but I'm going to stay in my lane. And I know saying like stay in my lane is kind of rude, and it really is. But like Markiplier stayed in his lane a lot. And even when like, I think we had a shooting about 3 years ago. I know that's stupid to say we had a shooting 3 years ago when we have a shooting like every day in America.
Mm-hmm.
But we had like a big shooting about 3 years ago. And I remember he just did a video where he's like, hey guys, right now is very, very divisive. Just be good to each other, please. Like he did that video. And I really appreciated that because I'm like, that's all you needed to say. And then I think recently he kind of came out in support of Black Lives Matter. And regardless of how you feel on the topic, I don't like it when entertainers suddenly drop political opinions because all that does is alienate a core section of their audience.
Oh yeah, it's alienating and unnecessary. And I also appreciate that. I appreciate that in the past. I appreciate that whenever he's had to speak on any problematic topic, he just does precisely that. He stays in his lane and he just sorry. Phone. So he just fucking chills. He doesn't have anything negative to say, or is like, I feel this and this and this, or titles it like, so an opinion on XYZ, which is what every single YouTuber does nowadays, especially with all the current drama with all these other assholes. But I digress. The point is that yes, he very much stays in his lane, and with the Black Lives Matter thing, he made like, I'll say like one post, and he continues posting his his scary video game series where he plays like 3 or 4 or 5 scary horror games and just chills and does that. And I appreciate that. I love when someone's just like, hey, this is shitty right now, but like it's gonna be okay. And when all the coronavirus shit started happening as well, he was like, yeah, this is shitty, but like be clean, don't be an asshole to like old people, like be considerate, wear your mask, at least, you know, for the workers around you, for the people around you, don't be a dick. And then continued on his merry way. And
my only issue with that is we all know coronavirus is a giant globalist conspiracy theory to keep us weak and out of gyms.
Listen, I would agree with you, but my city where I live, basically they mandated that.
Oh no, you are Corona Central, and I love it.
Yes.
I'm so. What's funny is I've had this weird rubber band effect with Florida for the longest time, because for a while I was like, man, Florida's so weird. And then I learned that you guys have the Sunshine State law, which is basically that any news article that comes out, anything that comes out that the cops like arrest somebody for, anything can hit the press immediately. And it's like complete transparency between the cops and the press.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that's so cool. And then I found out that even with all that, Florida's still weird.
Oh, yes. Unavoidably
like,
so.
even with the Sunshine State law, you guys are crazy.
Dude, this is Crackhead Central, and I live in the craziest area everywhere. I'll keep it under wraps for obvious reasons, but I'm pretty sure the listeners can figure out where exactly I'm from, or if they're from there themselves.
Could you ride a bicycle to Jeffrey Epstein's old mansion?
Oh my god, I wish, dude. No, sadly.
Okay.
I am close to. I'm trying to think of like some big places that like we're close to. I'm 4 hours from Walt Disney World.
Okay. So you're
4 hour
nowhere
drive.
near. What is that? Where is Walt Disney World? Is it in Miami?
No, it is in it is near Kissimmee, Orlando.
Okay.
Kissimmee, Orlando.
Okay.
So that's a 4 hour drive from where I am. Am I gonna say up or down? No.
No.
But it is
Fair enough.
a 4 hour drive by car, so very easy. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Now, back to horror games though, because we talked about Markiplier. I just and I truly stand by this. Like I tried to think, and I actually tried to rack my brain to think of good horror games that came out before the year 2000. And we talk about like Silent Hill 2. We talk about a lot of those games. I've never been super fond of those. Silent Hill 1, I didn't like tank controls. Same thing with Resident Evil. I know that at the time there was nothing better than tank controls, but I really hate tank controls.
Oh, yeah.
I think Resident Evil 4 was the only time where I've been like, yeah, tank controls are acceptable because they made it work in the world. And they made the rest of the game slow down so that you could actually like embrace tank controls.
I agree, but also disagree.
Well, then you need to go play like the original Alone in the Dark from, I want to say, like 1993, if you want to talk about horrible tank controls.
That's one game that I unfortunately only got like a taste of at somebody's at a friend's like hotel room at a con, because they had it, and I've been after that game for a while. But
the 1993 version, you can go download a ROM file online.
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, no, but like at the time, that was the only time I like physically touched it with my hands.
Yeah, you go up to the basement and a rat kills you. Woo! Or up into the attic and a rat kills you right off the bat. Yay!
Suspenseful, scary, awful. No, bitch, that was as atmospheric as me going to pick up like a check from the bank, like suck my ass. Like, no thank you.
Yeah, no, it's and like I said, the original, I also have this thing with the original Clock Tower to me comes across as more of a comedy than a horror game. And the main reason being is any time where you can randomly die for no good reason. I just think about King's Quest, where the entire purpose of King's Quest was just to get murdered over and over and over again in extremely creative ways.
Oh, like, yeah.
That's all.
Yes, I remember.
Like, that's all King's Quest was. Like, King's Quest 7, that one where you actually play as the mother and the daughter, that one's the greatest of all the King's Quest games in my opinion, but the entire purpose of that game is just to see how many horrible ways you can get killed. That's it. That's its entire purpose. And so the original Clock Tower plays a lot like that to me, because for no warning, if you look at yourself in a mirror, a hand comes out and strangles you to death, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh my god, that, and like my favorite one that I also personally tried was when you go to the garage and you're like, oh shit, a car with a key. Yeah, no, fuck you. You turn on the engine and you die of poisoning.
And Scissor Man is waiting for you in the back seat, yeah.
Oh my god, yes. It's, bro, I fucking, that's such a stupid fucking way to go. Like, it fucking, or something as dumb as like you pick up, I don't know, anything. It's that. I feel like maybe they got a little bit inspired by King's Quest and they were like, let's take it, but spooky.
Well, there's one game that I've been meaning to check out, which I guess it's called World of Horror.
I've heard of that game.
Yeah, and it's on
it's on Steam right now.
It's on Steam right now, and apparently it's like hugely inspired by Junji Ito stuff. And I can see it. I truly can see it. I just don't know anything about it. I think I'm going to give that a try with my wife. It's just, it that aesthetic, the black and white kind of, and they actually say it's like a 1-bit love letter, but like the black and white aesthetic and all that just isn't doing a whole lot for me just looking at it. But I'm willing to give it a try. But it's too simple. I truly think that the graphics and whatnot add a huge aspect to horror games. That's why, for as bad as Five Nights at Freddy's is, those animatronics looking as bad as they do actually adds to the terror level. And there's a story, I think I've told it on the main podcast. When I was a kid, from about the age of 7 to about the age of 11, I thought I hated machines, like all sorts of machines. Because for my 7th birthday party, my parents took me to Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, man.
I don't know if you've ever been to a Chuck E. Cheese, but they have like the animatronic stage show where like they have the rat wheels out on the stage.
Dude, I grew up with that too, dude. Like our 90s fucking version of Chuck E. Cheese that you and I both went to that shit was so much spookier. Like those animatronics
it was creepy. I think like nowadays they almost do like light shows and TVs to avoid the animatronics, but they had the animatronics when I was a kid. And I specifically remember being at the front row and Chucky was like singing along and jamming, and he must have skipped like something, like his gear might have gone too far for his vocals or something, or his potentiometer had popped, because all of a sudden his jaw just swung open. And his head just started bobbing back and forth like maniacally as his jaws just hung open, and he's still singing. He's like, and it's a happy birthday to the birthday boy. And I'm like, oh gosh. I'm in the front row looking at Chucky like having a seizure with his mouth wide open, just like shaking uncontrollably.
No, bro.
And so for about 4 years, I wouldn't touch machines. Like my parents wouldn't buy me like electronic toys that had like flashing lights or anything. I think I only played like video games if they were on a console because I was afraid of computers. It was the worst. It was like the most Amish 4 years of my life.
and then the other ones like, were voluntary.
Yeah. That year before I got kicked off for anorexia on my mission.
What?
That was fun. Oh yeah, no, I think I've told this on the podcast, but I served my mission in Germany and I got kicked off after a year because I developed like severe anorexia.
You just can't be fat for the life of you, can you?
You know what's funny is either I'm super fat or super skinny. I've never been in between. I've never like sat comfortably at 165 or 170 pounds.
Oh God! So it's always the two extremes with you.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, once I hit, like, because with if you follow the BMI index and all that crap, at my height, average weight is 160 pounds, which I'm pushing now I think I'm at 157, and that's mostly because I just decided to start bulking on my diet. My average weight is 160, so at 176, I'm overweight, and I guess at 192, I'm obese. Mm-hmm. Well, the moment I hit 172, I start developing gout, like, every other month.
Bitch, what?
Yeah, I actually, like, I have the most Prussian bloodline on the planet because I just get gout at 172 pounds, or 176 pounds. And then if I'm 192, like, I just permanently have gout. I get sleep apnea, and that's probably because of the sinoid cyst more than anything, but it's just really bad. So I either sit at, like, 190 pounds or I sit at 150, or less. There's no in between with me.
Oh my God. Fucking... And here I was complaining about, like, post-gastric sleeve, like, the 25 I gained back that I wanted to kill myself. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess others have it worse. Well, here you are. Dude, yikes. I think that's that's scarier than the animatronic.
Oh, yeah, the body dysphoria I have to deal with every day, and my wife, like, watches it firsthand. I actually don't think she believed how bad my body dysphoria was until she, like, actually saw it. Where I will come into the bedroom one day if I'm dehydrated, or like I'll stand and stare at myself in the mirror if I'm dehydrated, and be like, oh my gosh, I look great. And then I'll go drink a cup of water and stare at myself again and be like, gosh, why am I so fat? She's like, did I just marry a high school girl? Is that what happened?
Or not even, bro. Did I just marry a fucking college girl that like TikTok thought that's like so fucking Jesus. No, dude, Dude, I can't believe you experienced that shit. What? That's literally, that sounds like a storyline from the game. That sounds like pre-Bite of 87. That's what happened.
Well, it's actually, there's one of the games, because I was trying to think of the 3 best horror games that I've ever really played. And unfortunately, 2 of the 3 of them are AAA titles. But Sleep in Vivo, which is one of the three, talks a lot about body dysphoria and not liking your self-image. And it does it really, really well because a lot of the enemies you fight, you find out as time goes on. It's very Silent Hill inspired. Has to deal a lot with like your character's perception of themselves.
Okay.
Like one of the big enemies that you can't beat no matter how hard you try. It's like if you run into this enemy and you can't escape it, the game intended for it to kill you, is literally a fetus. And it's because having a child or like even getting pregnant completely ruined the main character's life and their self-image.
Oh my fucking god, that's actually really clever as well. Like I've like people have obviously used like children and like getting like, you know, having like a fetus around, but the fact that like you know we're I don't know, whatever, we're getting a little TMI in here, but that's my fear too, because I've also I've struggled with being overweight my entire life. Like everyone in my family is a fucking beluga whale, and my mother and father have diabetes, so I have it right there. So believe me when I get your gout problem, such as the Latino overweight problem. But no, dude, that's also one of my fears. Like post gastric sleeve, like bro, getting pregnant. Like even though I want to be a mom so bad, like oh my god,
and then bloat maxing afterwards.
Yes, dude, I'm so afraid that I saw what I looked at 350, which is my heaviest, and I saw what I looked like, and now at 208, which is what I'm talking to you as, I'm like, what, like, am I gonna look like that again after I have a child? Like, I feel like I'm gonna turn into an oddish. I don't know, dude. Like, what? And that's such an interesting concept to play with for horror. I'd love to delve into that myself. Damn.
Well, it's and I'll give you advice. I'll give you the advice that's pretty much worked for me. It doesn't actually matter how much you weigh as long as it's not mostly fat. And what I mean by that is there's a guy at my gym who's probably 6'2", and he weighs, and I didn't know this, he's 6'2", and the dude's like rippled with muscle. Like he is gorgeous. This man is carved from a statue. He is absolutely gorgeous. And I've talked to him about his diet. His diet's nuts. I could never imitate his diet in 100 years. He's 40 years old, 6'2", 9% body fat. And I was looking at him, I was like, yeah, you know, this guy might be 170, 180 pounds because of just how skinny he is. Like, he is lean as hell. No, he's 220 pounds.
Oh my god. And that's pure muscle.
Well, like, I don't know if you did this when you were at elementary school and they had, like, the random health groups come by and talk to you and do, like, their stupid raps and everything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but they actually, I remember they showed you, like, this is a pound of muscle and this is a pound of fat. And, like, the pound of muscle took up 1/5 of the area on the thing as the pound of fat.
Yes.
Yeah, that's 100% true. You can be your weight, because I know you're, like, what, 5'4", 5'3"?
I'm 5'3", so I'm teeny tiny, yeah.
Yeah, you can be 200 pounds at 5'3", and you can look phenomenal. Granted, you'll have bitch tits at that point, but you can look really, really good.
Oh, dude, and I've seen it. I've seen women that work out that they're like 220, 215 in my height, but they have like no chub, no flab, no anything. They look spectacular. It literally is how you take care of yourself and how you tone, for sure.
Well, and the recommendation I make, especially for first-time people who just are starting to work out, diet is a big thing. If you don't want to go to bodybuilding, but you do want to get stronger and whatnot, I recommend something I call PAP. It stands for push, ass, pull. And there's other things, there's less offensive ways to say it, but I like saying PAPs because that's a term for titties. What it is you do chest, shoulder, tricep one day. And then the next day you do legs because you want to give your upper body a chance to recover. And then on the third day you do back. And you just do back. Like, it's as lame as that sounds. There's so many different muscle groups in your back that you do back and bicep. And you mix a core exercise in each of those 3 days. On chest day, I like to do straight sit-ups. I actually do decline sit-ups because I'm a masochist at this point. Then on leg day, I do planks. And then I do basically where I hang from a chin-up bar. And I actually like just bring my knees up to my chest and slowly set them back down. That'll murder you. And then on back day, I do sit-ups again, but I do them with a ball, and I actually rotate my body as I'm coming up and down to get the other core muscle group on your hips. And really then, if you want to lose weight at your size, or if you want to just look good at 200 pounds, if you do that, and I would recommend eating 100 grams of protein a day, just because you're not trying to bodybuild like I am, where I'm eating my weight in grams of protein every single day.
I've been doing 60.
If you're just if you do like 60 to 100 and then you do cardio, like do 30 minutes of cardio after every workout, your body will shape up. You may not lose weight. In fact, you might actually gain a little bit of weight at first, but like your body will shape up to a better body.
Oh, that's for sure.
The problem is I spend, and people don't believe me when I say this, the days that I work out, I spend anywhere from 2 to 3 hours actually working out.
Oh my God.
It is disgusting. It is, and I mean, you don't have to be as committed as I am. I'm obviously trying to do bodybuilding, but like it is, I mean, you absolutely on chest day, you absolutely have to do bench presses or some variant of it. On leg day, you absolutely have to do squats. And on back day, you absolutely have to do deadlifts. Like, there's no way around it. You have to do those 3 core exercises or you will never get anywhere.
I love doing deadlifts. Like, that's literally, like, one of my favorite things. I'm just like, bro, give me... I pick up the 20 pounds and I'm like, yo, I'm so fucking cool. I'm so strong. Dude, that's more or less how I work. Like, I've been doing Orange Theory for 3 years and I lost hella weight with that. But my nutritionist is like...
Orange Theory? Oh, right.
Yeah. Do you know what that is? Or it's okay. I'll explain it.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so... For my fellow American pals, and for those who don't know, Orange Theory Fitness is actually, it's a lot like
it's the Trump fitness plan.
It's the Trump fitness plan. You get oranger and fatter and more intolerant as you go. No, but so it's basically like
Mike's gonna love this episode.
Fucking oh my God, what is this shit called? It starts with a C.
Calcium?
No, it's not calcium.
Vitamin C?
You turn into a big fucking cow with bitchin' cow tits. No, fucking CrossFit. So it's like CrossFit, and it's...
Wait, Orange Theory is just CrossFit?
More or less, bro. It's just CrossFit.
I'm like looking this up right now, and of course it's CrossFit because it just shows a bunch of women who aren't actually trying doing cardio.
Correct. But I get a little, it's a mix of weights and cardio, and it's in a studio. It's an hour, but thanks to Miss Rona taking center stage, we've been reduced to 45-minute classes. So I'm like, I hate this. So my nutritionist was like, baby girl, you can do Orange Theory, but I need you doing 2 days of Orange Theory and 2 days of literally what you're telling me right now. He wants me to do 2 days of just weights and then 2 days of Orange Theory, since it's a mix of weights and cardio.
I don't know, maybe because I'm just in like the racist bodybuilding groups, but everybody I know, if you bring up like CrossFit or even this Orange Theory right now, they will laugh you out of the room.
Oh yeah,
100%.
For sure.
And here's the thing, I don't actually know any genuinely fit people that do CrossFit. The only fit person I know who does CrossFit is the trainers that teach you CrossFit. And then you watch those guys go home after the gym and they proceed to actually do a real workout.
Oh yeah. But no, this shit, like, I'll be real with you. It saved my life. Works for me.
Okay. Well, you know what? If it saved your life and it works for you, then I'm not going to bash it.
But I'll be real with you that for anybody who's worth their salt, as you just said, it for sure is jokes. This is coming from a bitch who was sedentary her entire life, who literally was like, outside, no thanks, rather roll on the ground. So leveling up to that level of extreme, because that's extreme for me, and even 3 years after doing it, it still takes a toll on me. I'm like, yo, I'm out of breath, yo, I'm dying. But again, that works for me, who lived a mostly sedentary lifestyle for like 20 years, you know?
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. We should probably talk about video games again.
This is now health podcast.
We're here yeah, the health podcast, great. And I really can talk about fitness because it's I can tell you about the funny conspiracy theories like Go Mad and all sorts of other stuff. It's a theory to help skinny guys get fit and put on muscle. It's called Go Mad, where you have to drink a gallon of whole milk a day.
Oh, that's amazing. I'd love.
And the funny thing is, I'm 90% certain it's a meme. But then I occasionally see a skinny guy who actually does it and gets huge, and I'm like, okay, so is this a joke or is this serious?
That was me with Blue Waffle growing up all my life. I'm like, I never bothered looking it up, so to this day, I still don't know if that's real or not. Same thing with 2 Girls in 1 Cup. I'm like, is that real or not? Like,
Blue Waffle's real. 2 Girls 1 Cup I've never actually seen. I'm proud of myself. I've seen One Man One Mason Jar, which I think is a hilarious movie, but I've never seen 2 Girls 1 Cup, and apparently it is faked. The guy who did the film admits that it was faked.
Oh, so it was just a piece of chocolate the entire time.
It was what is that called, where it's like highly whipped material?
Oh, that's even better. That's, in my opinion, that's a troll. You get to do get to do porn that disgusts people like for centuries, but you literally were just eating like chocolate. That's spectacular. Yeah. I think that's wonderful. I wish there was more of that.
Well, the Wang, I actually love watching.
I love Justin Wang. Yes.
So did you see his video about the 1 man 1 mason jar?
No, I have to. That's why I'm like, you're ringing a bell. I'm like, let me check that one out. He has one on 2 Girls 1 Cup that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that's where he talks about the fact that it was faked.
Oh my god.
But what's funny is, like, I watch Wang, and I grew up in the exact same era as him. Everything he's talking about, I was watching when I was his age. Like, so everything he talks about where he does is like Tales from the Internet. I'm like, yes, I remember this.
Oh my god,
yes,
same,
I remember this.
Dude, again with the fucking, I guess like on a spooky topic, that we don't know if it's real or fake. I was super engrossed in the anime, the Hirabashi, whatever, the one that like the girls in the bathroom that they kill themselves.
Oh, that are slowly killing each other?
Oh my god. I low-key want that to be real. But like,
well, here's the thing, and I agree with him when he talked about this. We're talking horror and we're talking about this. Guro-chan, back when the Chans first got really big and everybody was trying to make the next half-Chan, like they're like, oh man, Lit-Chan, we gotta get Mecha-Chan, we gotta get all these. There was one called Guro-Chan, which I think by a lot of today's standards would almost be considered tame or like obtuse in a bunch of different ways. But there were effectively 3 boards. There was like the Guro board, weirdly there was a Mecha board, which was all for like robot girls. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember what the 3rd board was to this day, but it was just like Guro, Mecha, and maybe it was Vor or something.
Yeah,
but like
board,
those were the big 3. And I remember just browsing Guro-chan, and it was definitely disturbing, but and you got some of the guys who, like, there's a difference between making something for shock value and making something for like a sexual value. Yeah. Well, Shadman, I've talked about Shadman before, and actually I talked about it on Dave, like when I was when we did the BattleTech episode. Before we did it, Dave and I spent like 10 minutes bullshitting with each other, and we actually talked about Shadman. And his thing is, if you know his story, and apparently his story changes slightly as I think he gets more and more comfortable telling it. Mm-hmm. But the official story is he was an art student who was getting super stressed. Imagine that, an Austrian man who was an art student that became something horrible. Shadman was an art student that he was getting like super stressed, and so he made Shadbase as like a way for him to draw the stuff that was like he could vent. Like, he may not have even liked it at first. It was just stuff that he would draw to vent, which is why a lot of his earlier works are stuff of like furries getting hunted and murdered for fun. He would draw this stuff, and then he would somebody found out about it and showed his professor, and he got kicked out of art school.
Jesus Christ, dude, that's...
Yeah, they're like, dude, this guy's mentally unwell. And it's like, no, art school's just that stressful. And apparently he, according to my sources, I won't say who because I don't want to, like, betray anybody's trust, but I do know people who've hung out with the Newgrounds guys before, like, and Shad was working at Newgrounds at one point. Apparently Shad wears his full costume everywhere he goes.
Oh yeah,
Not
everywhere.
a lot of people know what he looks like.
Everywhere. The full mask, the skull mask, the garb, the sunglasses, everything. No matter where he goes. And I get it. That's valid. Like, I do the same shit if I were in that level of boiling water for sure.
Well, there's a theory with Spaz Kid. And Spaz Kid, really good animator. I think he's done a lot of really good stuff recently. Actually, is he the one who does the Yo Mama videos now? He animates those?
I think so, if I'm not mistaken, yes.
Yeah, like, the funny thing about Spaz Kid is they've asked him, they're like, so are you Zone Tan? And you know what Zone is, right?
I love his, her, they, whatever the fuck work.
Yeah, so the thing is, Zone Tan was uploading videos when I was 16. And I'm the same age as a lot of these animators. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm the exact same age as Sidekick Pebbles and Oni. Like, we are the same age.
You are, yeah.
And I assume that Spaz Kid is also about the same age. And so there's a huge theory that Spaz Kid runs Zone. In fact, pretty much everybody believes that Spaz Kid runs Zone. And I think the reason he refuses to admit it is because he was 16 when he first started doing porn.
Oh, okay. Oh my god.
So like the Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess parodies, the Aisha Clan parodies, all that stuff, like I think he was underage when he made that, if he is the one who made it.
That's, you know what? That's so valid, but it's also like, and you tend to wonder with legalities, because it's like that. I've wondered that before with like other like drawn animated like porn vids like Zone. I'm like, okay, is this person actually an adult making this shit? Like, what if the thought has crossed my mind. I'm like, what if this is just some bitch ass teenager in his basement, some fucking 17, 16-year-old punk, and his talent is immeasurable, as you can see, so fluid, so beautiful, but
I don't know. Go back and look at anything you diddled yourself to in 2006. Like, go download the original Hightails Hall and play it, or even the new stuff that they were working on up until I want to say like 2016.
Oh my god!
And play it, and it's just like, if you can get a female erection to it, there's something weird, because it is actually laughable to look at now. It's like looking at the original Monster Girl Quest series that was such a huge deal in the early 2010s. If you go back and look at the art for half the stuff, you're just like,
no,
it's the most shameful stuff on the planet.
Shameful and shitty. Oh my gosh. No, dude, but fucking going back to Spooky Town, fucking as you were saying, so I wanted to like delve a little more into that, because I'm one of those diehard Silent Hill fags. 2 is my favorite because I'm basic.
2 is everybody's favorite. Honestly, The Room is my favorite.
4 is amazing. I was gonna get to that. 4 is so slept on.
4 is good because it sets up clear rules and then betrays you halfway through the game.
Yes, for sure.
4 tells you, as long as you're in the room, you are safe. It goes, it doesn't matter what's going on around you. As long as you're in your room, you're safe. And then like 2/3 through the game, it invades your room.
I love that. And I really miss that, because that, I feel like, because it was, I don't know, because they had intended it to be such a different project, they literally went balls out. They were like, okay, let's try something. Now here's something completely different. And the fact that every time you would leave the hole and come back, like the random scares, they weren't just stupid ass jump scares. It was this weird dumb shit, like the phone, heads raining outside, oh my god, the time when like you start having the screaming faces in your room and your health is going down, you're like, bitch, what is this? I literally shit my pants. I was like, is this supposed to be happening? And I truly miss that in games that would give you a level of, as you said, like a level of trust that like, you're Gucci, you're fine, nothing's gonna happen to you, and then completely betray that trust later. And to me, that's excellent. That's excellent. And the suspense of like coming back from the hole and you're like, is something waiting for me? No. And also the fact that the hole to Eileen's room, fucking yes, nothing ever really happens other than Robbie the rabbit pointing at you. That's it. Nothing screams in your face, but you're always anticipating. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, when the fuck is that thing gonna come scream at me or put its dick in the hole? No, nothing ever happens. And to me, that's brilliant. And I wish that other games did that.
No, I agree. I don't love Silent Hill 2. I know that's like heresy as a horror game fan, but I don't love Silent Hill 2. And part of it is, as lame and as cheap as this sounds, part of it comes down to the fact that Pyramid Head is not a good villain. I get that Pyramid Head is supposed to be like your guilt chasing you throughout the game and all that, but ultimately Pyramid Head's not fun as a villain to me. An immortal villain that you eventually have to beat the crap out of at the end game, sure, yeah, that's great. But if you go back and you play Silent Hill 2 and you actually play it, I think there's a puzzle where you either have to get gum or you have to get a strand of hair, and then
the strand of hair, and then melt it to make to pull the hatch up. Yeah,
the key out of the sewer.
Yeah,
those kind of puzzles are dumb. Like, it drives me nuts. There is something that Silent Hill does really good though, and I think to make a really good horror game, which is why I don't like a lot of horror games, because they go for the whole you're defenseless aspect. That's what Insomnia did. That's what Clock Tower has always
Amnesia.
done. Is making a defenseless protagonist doesn't make a game scary. It makes me annoyed that my protagonist is so useless.
I can agree with that
And
for sure.
and that's why I really don't like Clock Tower. That's why I really don't like Insomnia. It's like, it's one thing when the monsters are so overpowering, but one of my big 3 favorite survival horror games is Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth. You're dealing with eldritch gods. Like, you are dealing with monsters that will completely knock your teeth in, and you still have guns. And the difference is, it's way scarier. It's scary at first when you're like, okay, I got a 9mm Luger. I can kill this fishman with it. Like, I can shoot this guy in the face with this gun and he will die. And then you go and you fight another enemy after getting a false sense of security, and you're like, oh yeah, I got a gun. You're going down. And you unload an entire mag into him, and he's still coming at you, and you're like, all right, now I'm scared.
Yeah, exactly. But no, there's not really. I think a game that does that very well, and it's obviously a popular opinion as well, but Resident Evil 7 knocked it out of the park for me in that regard.
Resident Evil 7 is my other 3. Those are my big 3 right there.
Oh,
Sleep
shit,
in
okay.
Vivo, Resident Evil 7, and Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth. Those are the best 3 horror games, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, I have a slightly, basic bitch opinion. Resident Evil 7 is like I love it with all my heart, but it's like a 4. My top 3 favorite horror games of all time, without a doubt or fail, are Fatal Frame 3, Fatal Frame 2, and Silent Hill 2. Those are the ones that have done it.
Are you
for
sure
me.
you're not a white girl? Do I need to go get you a mochaccino?
You might as well get me a pumpkin spice because I unironically love him. For someone who's
wearing Uggs in Florida.
Exactly. Yes. Oh my gosh. That's my gender. It's my government appointed kin. No, dude. For someone who's mixed and fucking Hispanic, I sure act like a white person. And dude, yes.
It's, the reason I think I truly love Resident Evil 7, and I played it, and I did not play it until like 2 years after it came out. So I got the expansion pack where you could play as Chris Redfield and you could play as the brother and all that stuff. And that was just fun. It wasn't quite as scary, but it was just fun to play.
They were fun side games.
Playing as Chris Redfield was fun.
Yes.
But the thing that really sold me about Resident Evil 7, and I still remember this to this day, even though like pretty much everything had been spoiled for me by that point, I was still horrified playing that game. I just remember the first time the father breaks through the wall at you.
Oh god, yes.
And the father, you can't, when he's chasing you, because during the game, every house you go into, there's a chase scene.
Yes.
So when you're at the guest house, there's not really a chase scene because it's teaching you how to play the game. But when you're in the main house, the chase scene is that the father is always chasing you and you cannot kill him. And then the brother is always chasing you and you cannot kill him until the final fight. And the mother, who's probably has the scariest of all the houses, she is always chasing you and you cannot kill her until the final fight. And even then, her fight was probably the hardest in the game. I burned through all of my ammo fighting.
Oh my god, yeah, all those fucking bees. Jesus.
But what's great is the enemy follows a somewhat AI pattern. It falls very similar to Alien Isolation, where the enemy knows where you are and the enemy doesn't know where you are. So they know you're in a room, but you have to hit their sight radius for them to chase you, or you have to make enough sound for them to catch you.
Yes.
And I remember running from the father in Resident Evil 7, and you go to the area where you can crawl through the wall. Like you can move through the wall and it'll actually like basically get him off of you for a bit if you move to the other section of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so terrifying because, like, here's this guy that I can't kill, and I gotta crawl through the wall like a damn rat to avoid this guy. And I see that walls don't protect me. This dude burst through a damn wall just 10 minutes ago. How is this gonna save me from him?
Right.
But at the end of the day, I also have guns. You know, and that's the thing. Even though you have to ration ammo and you gotta run back to the item box and you gotta store some items and pick up some other items, you are not defenseless, and yet you're more scared than Insomnia. In Insomnia, I wasn't scared. I was pissed off the entire time. I'm like, you're strong enough to lift an 80-pound box that's, 3.5 by 3.5 feet, but you're not strong enough to cold clock this lipped mutant? Like, what the hell?
No, and it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. For me, though, like, it's, I loved it. I think that Resident Evil 7 absolutely, again, knocked it out of the park in every regard. In atmosphere, in story, in surprises. The one thing that I didn't like was, I forgot their proper name because I'm a rat, so forgive me. But the fucking muckmen, the blacks, those darn blacks were so aggravating because the fights with them were so repetitive. I was gonna say the Las Plagas people, but Resident Evil 4 is my personal favorite because, again, I have
Resident Evil 4 is a lot of people's personal favorite. I know this is almost a heretical opinion, but I genuinely enjoy Resident Evil 5.
I liked it, and
But I'm a co-op gamer. I also think Dead Space 3 is the best of the Dead Spaces, and that'll get me crucified in a heartbeat.
It will, but you know what? We're on the same page. I loved the fuck out of 3. A lot.
I played Dead Space 3 with my wife. I was Isaac and she was the soldier, and it would be really, really funny because we'd walk into a room, and we're on separate computers because she's playing on her laptop and I'm playing on mine at the time. And she's sitting there, she's like, oh my gosh, look at all the teddy bears. And I'm staring at like bloated corpses. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, it's a birthday party. Can't you tell? And I have to look over at her screen and see that they've rendered all the models differently for her. And she's actually at a birthday party while I'm murdering things.
That's so clever. Oh my god, that's so cool.
It is.
Bro.
Dead Space 3 was not as scary as the other two as far as like jump scares and the fact that you have to stomp everything twice to make sure you killed it. But Dead Space 3 is absolutely the best Dead Space for atmosphere.
For sure. I can 100% agree with you. You know, like, I want to like get a little bit into letdowns for sure.
Okay,
because
letdowns,
you telling me about your wife seeing a bunch of teddy bears when you're killing a bunch of shit reminds me of this fucking game that I was super hyped for, and the trailer was like fucking, it literally was like BioShock in England. So I'm referring to We Happy Few, and I want to
the ultimate letdown,
dude. I was all up in the Kickstarter. I was everywhere in that ass, everywhere. And when the final finished product came out, I was like, what is this shit? Who made this?
That actually happened with Hello Neighbor as well.
Oh my god, as well? Yes. Let me tell you, like, it became this children's thing now, and I thought it was
children's TV show.
Oh my god, yes, but dude.
And they won't get off Matt Pat's dick about it either. It's so good.
Oh my god, but it was, let me tell you
Did
something.
you see that?
Yes. I was like so traumatized. And now, like, my godkids, like, what? Again, my godchildren are 10 and 12, so they love watching that shit on YouTube. And I'm like, what are you doing? This is scary. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my god. They watered it down, dude. And I remember when it came out, that was such a cool concept. Not horrifying, but it was creepy. You're in this dude's
idea
house.
of a game that realizes you're more likely to go to this area, you're more likely to do this every time you play, and so the game kind of adapts to that. That is interesting.
Yeah,
but they totally biffed it.
They biffed it, and the mystery of it was creepy because you didn't know where this asshole was. You didn't know what he was doing to you. You didn't know what his problem was, and you didn't know what was behind the door. And I thought that was excellent because you're just living across the way and you're in someone's home that doesn't fucking want you there and you don't know where the hell he is. I thought that was super cool and fucking, I was like, this is new. No, just ball this up in the trash. And like you said, if they notice you, like they'll prevent you from, oh, you climb this ladder. Okay, now you're blocked off from that ladder. Find another way to get an asswipe. And it was so cool. And I don't know, it was innovative, it was different, and now it's just, a children's cartoon. And they sell books. Like I work as a teaching aide. I'm trying to be a teacher. And at the book fair, bitch, I saw Five Nights at Freddy's books. I saw Hello Neighbor books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember being at, what was it? Oh my gosh. I remember being at Toys R Us before they went out of business. And it's just Five Nights at Freddy's toys everywhere. You could buy an entire Fazbear pizza set. At one point, there was a display where the toy, I kid you not, you had to spend probably like $250 to get the full thing. But you could recreate Fazbear's Pizzeria with the toys. Like, it was the area, it was the environments, it was like the rooms that you could get.
That sounds
It was
really
so
cute.
goofy.
Unfortunately, I actually would probably buy that because I have no brain cells. I'm sorry. That sounds really cute. Unfortunately,
It was really cute.
Oh my god. That's the sad part, that you go to Target and I would be buying things for like a birthday party for like whatever in the kids section for like a cousin of mine, and I'm seeing all these Five Nights at Freddy's shirts and I'm like, what is this shit? This is about dead children.
Murdering.
This is about
like getting stuffed inside an animatronic.
That's the idea, because me who's like super big scared of like being buried alive, like that's my number one fear. The death of a fucking this asshole Springtrap, that piece of shit story is horrendous. The man gets into the suit and
he sweats so much that it activates and stabs him with springs.
Oh my god. And then his rotting corpse is within the thing, and you see the heart and the teeth and the... How is this for children? Why is this okay? I don't understand. I'm an old ass piece of shit, and it was creepy to me. I was like, that's unnerving. That's strange to think about. Like, it hit me. I was like, and children are just consuming this like fucking like, bro, what is that? Oh my god.
No, I actually want to talk about other horror games. This just reminded me. Bendy and the Ink Machine.
I was gonna get to that. Yes,
is such an anomaly to me. And I want to say I played the first 3 chapters of it because the first chapter was free, and then I played the second 2, and by the end I was bored. It's so weird to me because Five Nights at Freddy's was really made for millennials. I don't know how like the kids generation got into Five Nights at Freddy's, because once again I don't think it's kid appropriate at all. They kidified it for sure, but it's not kid appropriate at all. I actually thought Sister Location had really good writing. Sister Location was so witty it wasn't even funny.
Excellent. Here's your butters.
Yeah, here's your butter. But Bendy and the Ink Machine is so weird to me because Five Nights at Freddy's played on the fact that we went to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid.
Yes.
But then Bendy and the Ink Machine comes out, and the entire premise is based on the Fleischer era and the rise of Walt Disney. Here's the thing. I only know so much as I do about animation because I married an animator. I married a wife who sat down and proceeded to school me on the fact that Walt Disney was psychotically abusive to his animators to the point where they emotionally could not believe they had worth without him. I know all about the Fleischer era and stuff like that, especially with Cuphead. That was a great callback to that era.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so bizarre to me that Bendy and the Ink Machine is centered around a Fleischer era animation studio. It's so bizarre that took off at all for me, because there's a little bit of nostalgia for that. But really, go back and watch the Casper cartoons. Like, go back and watch the 1950s Casper cartoons. Go back and even like any cartoon before the Warner Brothers. There's some interesting content there, but for the most part, it was the grassroots, the development, the start of animation as we know it. And while there's some quality there, we make much better animation today. Much, much, much better animation today.
Oh, for sure.
So Bendy and the Ink Machine getting as popular as it did, I just didn't see it. I think it only got as popular as it did because it was riding on the coattails of Five Nights at Freddy's.
I do too. And it makes me sad because, as you said, it was such a niche thing. I thought it was dope. And I thought it, fucking indie hipster. But I thought it would have stayed hidden. I actually liked it. This is cool. No.
No, here's the thing though. Everybody I know who likes Bendy and the Ink Machine also likes Five Nights at Freddy's. And so I'm 100% convinced Bendy and the Ink Machine would not have succeeded without FNAF.
I liked it, period, because I'm not, I know a little bit about like Fleischer era shit and I'm also like a Disney Wired retard. So I'm basically like a fake cast member, but also a real one. I worked at the Disney store for 2 years. So
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and I wanted to do the college program, and I know way too much about the parks, way too much about the history, way too much about everything. That it's a surprise that I want to be an educator instead of a cast member, but that's why it called out to me.
No, it's I can't stand Disney these days.
Yes, exactly. That's why.
Disney terrifies me.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
In fact, I remember, this is really sad, but for my 4th wedding anniversary with my wife, I went to Disneyland for the very first time. That was like, I don't know why we did it on our 4th year instead of our 5th year, except we could afford it that year. We flew down to Disneyland, and I went to Disneyland for the very first time, right as the premiere of The Force Awakens was coming out.
Oh.
And this was before we knew that Star Wars was gonna suck. And so everybody was excited. We're like, hey, there's Kylo Ren. He's got this new lightsaber. The main character's going to be this guy called Finn. We're going to have 2 Jedis being trained at once. We're going to have this girl and this guy being trained. And it's really cool that we're going to see, like a stormtrooper who was able to be a Jedi. Like, we thought all these cool things were going to happen. And it was really the most magical place on Earth for me for a week. And then after that, I just started to realize how terrifying Disney actually is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I'm so glad I did that before I realized Disneyland is bad.
Now, I've never been to Disneyland, so unfortunately I have not been to the motherland. But I'm an annual pass holder, and I went for free. I will absolutely show you my card that says I can get in for free when I get a chance.
For life?
For life. As a cast member, yes, sir.
Nice.
Fucking, it's dope. But. It fucks me up how much of a giant Disney is, and this is coming from someone who like it's one of my lifeblood things as well. But like, bitch, it's turned into such a bro. Like, I know that we're talking about games and horror games specifically, but
we've given up on that topic
at this point, dude. Because guess what? The fact that they had enough money to buy Hamilton. That's
or to buy Fox.
To buy Fox.
They are like looking at Sony with a gun.
Oh yeah, they're like, do it, faggot. Do it or you're gay. And the fact that they have so much power, they're such a powerhouse of a company. It's psychotic. I feel like they're gonna, and this is coming from like, okay, and especially very relevant. The parks just opened. Magic Kingdom's first day was today. And
oh man, I've heard the social distancing is failing entirely.
Oh, there's no such thing. Go fuck yourself. Literally, like I've had 2 Uber Eats drivers that come up to the door, and I'm like, can you
just drop it at the door and leave,
dude? Because I have diabetic parents at home that are like, my father is 70, my mother is 62. Like, please get the fuck away from me. So it's like, if I go, bitch, I go. For me, personally, it's a problem. Like, if I lived alone, I wouldn't give a goddamn fuck. And obviously, I'd still wear my mask and be considerate and wash my hands and all that shit. But again, for me, it's my goddamn parents. Like, that's, and it really is like I'm so afraid to go out and work because as schools have been, closed because of summer. Dude, going out to work, like I worked at an insurance thing for a little bit, and now I'm like doing like babysitting. Like, dude, I'm terrified. Like, there's no like, oh my god. At the insurance place, we were separated by barriers, but even so, the girl next to me started coughing and sneezing, and I was like, that was part of the reason why I quit. I was like, goodbye. Why would you come to a job and cough?
What's funny for me is coronavirus hit America right as allergy season was hitting in Alaska for me, and I get horribly allergic in Alaska. It's not even funny. So I'm sitting here like coughing and sneezing and wheezing right as like the first wave of panic hits, and everyone's looking at me like I just slapped their mother. They're like, "What is wrong with you? What is going on?" I'm just like, guys, I'm sorry.
Why are you here, you fucking annoying piece of shit? Like, how dare you? How dare you cough and exist in my general space? You corona cunt, get away from me. No, that's dead ass how it is. And I also have allergies. I be sniffling. Like, yeah, like I just did. And like you guys have heard throughout this entire podcast, a bitch be sniffling. My nose stay stuffed. And I check every morning. I'm like, can I smell? Can I taste? Fuck, and that's the problem with allergies, especially here in Florida, that it's literally, like I was telling you earlier before we started, that
coronavirus is your state bird right now.
Yes, absolutely. The state bird is just, a picture of the corona, or it's like a corona-chan. I wish somebody would be creative enough to do like a mascot. Corona-chan.
They already have plenty of times.
Oh my god, I need to check that.
You can, if you jump on Google right now and type in Corona-chan, tons of things come up. In fact, my first recommendation was Corona-chan, followed by Corona-chan Lewd.
Corona-chan, bro, my god. I'm calling.
I think the only thing they can't seem to figure out is whether or not she's a blonde or a brunette. I think they've decided that she's brunette just because it fits the Chinese caricature better.
Oh,
Here
awesome.
you go. I just sent it to you.
Oh my god. So
And the best thing is this picture, they make a Plague Inc. reference. Because she goes, I've always wanted to go to Madagascar. Will you take me there?
Anon, will you take me there? Bro, guys, this man has sent me a picture of this little Chinese bitch with black wings holding a
Corona beer and Winnie the Pooh.
And bro, she looks cute as hell.
It is my favorite caricature right now. It's so good.
I'm really mad. She looks really cute. Yeah, she has like the red dress on and it's like the Chinese bro, I can't. This is unfortunately very cute.
It's adorable for how horrible it is.
But I also believe that we have to make light of the situation. Because yeah, like trillions of people are dying, but what else are we gonna do?
I figure if Rick and Morty can make light of it, then it's okay for people even with the most delicate sensibilities to joke about it.
Bro, the most irrelevant, but that fucking Arabic looking ass dude that I'm piping.
Have you not just broken it off with him entirely?
Oh, no, I haven't. He hits me with, hey, we're in quarantine again, but that's not gonna stop me from like coming to hang out. And I was like, okay, cool.
By the way, I'm gonna put Eileen's dirty laundry out here. She is a walking racist stereotype, just so you know. The first time I meet this woman, the first thing she tells me, she's like, I need a poppy who can beat the crap out of me. And I was just like, what world did I just walk into?
And you were like...
It's just, she's like, I have to date Arabian dudes because they know how to have a right hook. And I was just like, holy crap, woman.
Oh my god. I mean, listen, that's legit how like I first met Moth, and I was because he came in exactly when I was speaking about that.
I was thirsting after Dave at the time because I was like, Dave, let me in your Discord, let me into your circle of friends, please, Dave. I like BattleTech, let me in, Dave.
And these are the kind of people he associates with. So I'm one of David Razi's close and personal friends. No, I'm not. I don't know.
There's 5 of us active in the Discord, and it's like his wife doesn't even post in the own Discord that she's a mod in.
I fucking love Hannah. Like my dream is just to come over and knit blankets with her, and then like ignore Dave and like talk to him like from across the room. That's like the ASMR.
I'll play BattleTech with Dave while that's going on.
That's literally, dude. That's the post quarantine dream. Like have like a friend meetup where you guys can just paint figures together and stare into each other's eyes lovingly. Well, me and
the problem is, I think he's actually a little bit jealous of me, and because what's funny is he's actually a really good painter. He just thinks he looks bad because he tries to paint like the actual way you're supposed to paint BattleTech, which of course kind of looks awful.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel really bad for him because he's a good artist. He's just like, no, you're much better than me and Moth. I'm like, no, Dave, I know you have the skills. You've been painting 3 times as long as I have, if not longer. You just. You gotta stop painting like the BattleTech is supposed to look and go for it yourself.
Dude, take free reign. And let me tell you, how you paint your figurines and how he paints his figurines, like I can definitely tell the difference. And I feel like
like I said, I know he's a good painter. He just paints BattleTech the way it was like shown in the magazines in the late 80s and early 90s.
God, it's fucking... I keep forgetting that I'm friends with a man who's almost 40, and I'm like, bruh.
we can't do that to Dave. We can't throw him under the bus like that and give away his age.
And they don't. I never said how much. I just said almost.
For those of you who need to know, Dave is 36.
Go bully him about it and be like, "What's up, old man?" Fucking. Oh my god.
Yeah. So talking like we'll hit on horror games one more time and then be done. I know it's not a popular opinion, but honestly, with VR now, we are going to actually see a true golden age of horror games. And I guess during the PS1 and PS2 era, we had a pseudo-golden age.
Yes.
But even then, we talk about, what was that one game? It was a PS2 third-person stealth horror game where you were a girl in like a Spanish mansion.
You literally, did you read my mind? Did you read my mind? Haunting Ground. I was literally about to get into Haunting Ground now.
Is it called Haunting Ground?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is that the one where one of the endings, like one of the bad endings, is you actually end up pregnant with the dude?
Yes!
Yeah, it's Haunting Ground.
I love, bro. Okay, bitch. Here, I have. Okay, girl.
And my favorite thing, the way you know it's a Japanese game, is one of the alternative costumes for a girl who, by the way, looks like Ashley. I think they actually stole her character rig from Resident Evil 4 and just put it into
the same blonde bitch, right?
No, she is one of her alternative costumes is a dominatrix.
I love it. dominatrix, a frog, a cowboy, a fucking.
Yeah,
I love it. Dude,
I can't, and I've talked on the podcast about this. I actually cannot play games as a female protagonist.
Why?
Because I feel like a massive failure when they die.
I mean, you are. That's the idea. Yeah. Get good is the idea of having a female protag, and it's just that's interesting that like all the fucking oh my god, all these like I just noticed how prominent like blonde like women in horror games like fucking Ashley, Alex Roy.
Because it's supposed to. Yeah. It's kind of a throwback to when we could get a hold of because in the 70s and 80s it became exceedingly easy to get a hold of filming equipment.
Oh yeah.
Film history thing right here. For a long time, if you wanted to make a movie, it's why Walt Disney was one of the reasons Walt Disney was such an anti-Semite and everything, is he could not get his foot in the door because at the time he believed that all the studios were owned by Jews and they were intentionally shutting him down because they hated him.
Oh yeah.
You up until the 1970s and 1980s, you could not make a movie unless you were a massive studio or you got funding from massive studio because these cameras are like $10,000-$15,000 even at the time, like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 cameras. That's how much they cost, and you could not. You could not pay for them. You could not afford them. And then in the 70s and 80s, like the Super 8 came out, and you were able to film with a much lower budget. You could get in the front door on a much lower cost than you could prior, and that's when we started seeing, like the blonde bimbos in horror movies, and horror movies are exceedingly easy to make. Look at the Blair Witch Project. That's why we have stuff like and that's why Haunting Ground throws back to that with the blonde character. Is it's a reference to like the blonde protagonist.
See, I didn't actually know that. That's interesting. Shit. Wow. I thought it was just I thought it was just lazy character design.
No, I almost guarantee it's supposed to like be a throwback to like the 1970s and 1980s. And even then, that's like when we started hearing the term like spaghetti westerns and whatnot, is because it was cheaper to film in Italy than it was in America.
Oh shit. Kind of like how nowadays it's cheaper to film in everything's filmed in Canada. It's cheaper to film in Canada than here. Oh my god. Yeah.
So Haunting Grounds, we did. We had a pseudo golden era. We had Alone in the Dark. Not Alone in the Dark. What was the one on the GameCube that everybody has a boner for, even though that game plays horribly?
Eternal Darkness,
Sanity's Requiem.
Yes.
That game is such a pseudo-intellectual hot mess. It's not even funny. There's a lot of things I like the fact where it tells you, like, hey, I deleted your saves.
It lowers the volume.
Is corrupted. Where it starts messing with your audio tracks. Like, it did a lot of interesting things to get into the player's head. But if you go back and actually like play that game, it's not good. It handles horribly. The controls are god awful.
Oh, it's ass. I currently got it off of a fucking old. Me and my best friend are currently playing it. We were lucky enough to get it for like $40 from an old lady that doesn't even speak English. She's like, yeah, my grandson left this shit behind in perfect condition, pristine, and so we're playing it. And dude, the whole idea of like to not spoil too much for you guys, so you do get to watch a playthrough of it. I definitely recommend it. I don't recommend buying it. Please do. I got very lucky. That'll run you like $200, $300 easy. Same thing with Rule of Rose, which I will definitely dip my toes into in a second.
Oh no!
I will please let me be autistic one more time, Moth, for the love of God, because I am
play a game about an orphanage,
bro. I physically own it. I'm blessed enough to physically have it. But bitch. Oh my god. Anyway, so going back to
I didn't play Rule of Rose, so I'm just gonna let you talk about it, even though it's not that good.
It's okay. But it's in tandem with what we're talking about that it's not that great. And it controls like hot trash. The story itself is it's uncomfortable, it's strange. It's a bunch of little fucking girls who are like, this feels rapey. I feel like Shadman playing this.
Well, it was yeah.
It feels icky. It does, but I think that adds to it for sure. I feel like you're supposed to feel disgusting and strange, and that I love that it plays on that, but it handles and plays so bad. Controlling Jennifer, the main character, through fights is literally the 7th layer of hell. the getting back
What?
up, the fucking the weapon like problem, like bro, I can't, I really can't. Like you get like
Well, there's also, I mean, if you talk about like Suda 5-1, everybody loves, there we go, Michigan Report from Hell. I was looking it up right now.
I love,
like,
oh my god.
it's such a bad game. It's so bad.
It's so bad, but it's bad.
We didn't actually, I don't actually think we entered a golden age of horror games back in like the late 90s to early 2000s. What it was is that it was so easy to get a hold of a dev kit for a PS2 that everyone could make a game. And developing PS2 games were so cheap and so profitable. I mean, you could have called it a golden era for RPGs, because it absolutely was. It was the first real golden era we had since the Super Nintendo.
Oh, yes.
You could talk about like the fact that it wasn't. A lot of these horror games that we're talking about, like, don't go back and play them. Watch somebody play them on YouTube. They're bad.
Oh, yeah. Because that's pretty much it.
The only ones I would recommend, and you can get a hold of these games, is go play Sleep in Vivo. It's on Steam. It's like $10. It is good.
It sounds good.
Go play Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth. You can get it on Steam for $10. It's good. It is, honestly, it has the scariest scene I have ever played in a video game. And it's the first, like, hour of the game it happens. And it's the scene where you're staying at the inn for the first time and they're coming to kill you. And so you lock up your hotel room the best you can. You have to, like, slide bookcases in front of doors and run down hallways while people are shooting at you. Like, that chase sequence is genuinely terrifying.
Oh my god, that sounds, dude, it sounds like you're, again, what we were talking about earlier about like the Resident Evil like 7 chase scenes. Like, it's that's suspense, because there's, oh my god, like when Amnesia first came out, I know that's like a fucking random shot there, but when Amnesia first came out, that was incredible to me, at least.
I mean, and once again, I didn't like Amnesia because there's points where the mechanics of the game stop feeling realistic. Like, me as a guy, if I start seeing these weird monsters, like, yeah, that's creepy. I'm in a dark basement, you know, I'm running from these weird abominations against God and everything. But the whole, like, start hallucinating, start having these effects, like, I've been genuinely scared. I've had hallucinations. One of the side effects of anorexia is actually you start hallucinating. I've had hallucinations, and I've dealt with these things before, and it's not like it's portrayed in these games. And I get that it's supposed to fit in the mechanics of the world, but Amnesia to me was such like, the fact that your character is such a wimp, it's not even funny. Like I said, I can lift an 80-pound box, a cumbersome 3x3 80-pound crate, but I can't yeet it at a monster. Like, I did not like Amnesia, and A Machine for Pigs is even worse.
It honestly is just more pathetic. At least the first one, the concept that you couldn't see what was chasing you down, to me was brilliant. I thought that was really cool.
Well, the chase scene in the water is good.
Yes,
I like it.
Yes.
I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is Spooky's House of Jump Scares actually stole that idea and ran with it.
So cool. I love it.
And there was another game that I played that I think came out before Amnesia that actually has a chase scene, and I think it's with a shark, where there's a shark in the water, and if you get into the water, the shark starts homing in on you.
Oh god. Now, you know what you just reminded me of? Irrelevant, I'm sorry, but the Resident Evil 1
Dino Crisis?
Well, Dino Crisis is fucking... It's super cool because it's Jurassic Park on steroids. I fucking love.
Speaking of which, you know it's rumored there's another one in development, right?
No fucking way. Oh my god.
Yeah.
For what system?
It's probably going to be the next gen launch type. Like, it's going to be in the next gen.
PS5, I guess.
Yeah, well, honestly, I'm buying a PS5 for 2 reasons.
No, why? Why?
Little Big Planet 4.
Oh my god. And
there's another, like, console exclusive that was announced for it. I can't remember what it is right now, but one was Little Big Planet 4, and the other one was a release of another game I kind of enjoyed playing at the time. But I love Little Big Planet. Like, Poop Survival is my jam.
Poop Survival. Bro, that's literally, like, the title of my life, honestly. No, dude.
Oh. I'm trying to remember, like, I'm pulling up GameSpot while you're talking right now, just looking at the games, because I remember there was one that I should not have been excited for, but I'm absolutely excited for it. I'm like, I hate myself. Oh, the Demon Souls remake.
There's gonna... Why? Why is there gonna be...
Because Demon Souls was phenomenal.
Oh my god. I mean, of course it was, but, like, I thought that, like, they were just never gonna... Like, FromSoft was just never gonna touch it again, because they had shut off all the servers, like, a while back, right?
Yeah, but it's they shut it down. I want to say during the release of Dark Souls 3, they let it be on for like a year and then they shut it down.
Yeah. Okay. No, dude.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's no, but that's yeah, when it comes down to it, I never enjoyed Amnesia. I don't enjoy horror games, or the scariest aspect is the fact that I don't have a gun.
Yeah.
What was it called? Disturbed? There was a game that came out on the Xbox 360 that you can also get on Steam, which was a horror game, but the entire premise was that you had melee weapons that broke over time. Is it Criminal Origins?
I think it's Condemned. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, Condemned Criminal Origins.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal horror game.
Yes.
There are actually, what's funny is there's a couple of really good horror games on Good Old Games right now that you can play. Like, I'm not kidding when I say don't go back and play these PS2 games with tank controls. Play Condemned Criminal Origins. It's on Steam. It's $15. I'm looking at it right now. Play that. Play Sleep in Vivo. God, play Sleep in Vivo. Play Resident Evil 7. In fact, if you want to get a bunch of friends together, play The Forest. The Forest is great. It's actually a really good horror game. Have you heard of The Forest?
I haven't. I've been wanting to play it. Like, I didn't know if I should, like, invest in it.
It was an early access 5 years ago.
Okay.
And they completed it 5 years later. It's one of the few early access games that I actually think held true and did well for itself.
Mm-hmm.
But the entire premise is your plane lands on an island filled with at first you're just like, oh man, it's a cannibal island. Woo! And then as time goes on, you realize not only is it a cannibal island, a very rich multi-billion-dollar like pharmaceutical company was doing human testing on this island. And so as the game's playing, you start seeing cannibals, and they at first like they kind of just stay and they watch you. And if you approach them, they'll obviously attack you, but they try to run. And as time goes on, the cannibals start attacking you at night, especially as you build like a bigger and bigger settlement. And it gets even worse as time goes on even more. They start sending these like abominations against God after you. And you start exploring and you realize like, oh snap, there's a pharmaceutical company here. And you start picking up like employee ID cards and whatnot. And it's really good. I genuinely enjoy The Forest. As far as early access crafting games go, it was solid.
Okay. That sounds like something I definitely want to check out. As far as horror games that I'm excited for, there was, I'm so mad I can't remember for the life of me the name. All I remember is the presentation because I was watching
Resident Evil Village.
Yes. Resident Evil Village, that goes without saying. Big fucking fridge Chris looks great. I'm into it. I'm about it. Like, it's a vibe. I'm here for it.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
Yes.
Or Vampire the Masquerade 2.
Yes.
Oh, that looks really good.
That looks excellent. And there was one more that stood out to me. I don't know if it was an Xbox or PS5 presentation. Oh my god, I feel like it was Xbox, whatever. No. It was a PS5 presentation, I think. And it was, oh my god, it was so ominous. It was like a cave and it was all this like pagan imagery and all these like weird statues and oh my god.
Setsuna's Sacrifice 2?
I think so. I don't remember the name. I don't even remember seeing the name come up on the screen. It was just, it captivated the fuck out of me because it was just it looked like the Chamber of Secrets, but like with a bunch of like other fucking statues, and it was really spooky looking and it really drew me in, and I'm like, what the fuck is what? I'm so mad. What's it called? It's
all right.
But yeah, that one sounds good too.
Yeah, we can agree that honestly, I think horror games have never truly been great until I would say the like most recent. It sucks, but like the recent 2 decades, horror games have been really good, much better than they were the decade before. And every year, the potential for better and better horror games to come out. A lot of times, a lot of people, when they do like their top 10 RPG of all time things, like Chrono Trigger always ends up at the top of the list from, 1994 or something. But with horror games, I actually think the top 10 list every year, a new entry gets added to it, and an entry from years back will get removed. Right now, if I were to do a top 10 list, it would be Sleep in Vivo, which came out in the last 3 years. It would be Resident Evil 7, which came out in the last 4 years. And it would be Call of Cthulhu, which even though it came out 15 years ago, is still, like, that's relatively relevant for a top 5 game from this genre of all time list. And then sure, there's going to be Resident Evil. I would put 4. I wouldn't put any other Resident Evil but 4 on the list. Or not Resident Evil, Silent Hill. I wouldn't put any other Silent Hill but 4 on the list.
Oh,
there are going to be other games, but honestly, I think Resident Evil 8 will be a top 10 entry when it comes out.
I agree. I feel like with all the progress that we made with 7, that it only brings promise, like, especially with the way that shit was presented. I was like, well, I'm sorry, with the way Village was presented, I was like, bro, like...
You know the Chris Redfield meme, right?
Which one? Oh, the fridge one?
No, the Leon, you have to sleep with my sister.
Oh my god, yes!
Well, apparently, what's the main character from Resident Evil 7? He has such an unrememberable name.
Ethan.
It's like John or something.
Ethan.
Ethan, yeah, but like, there's a joke about Ethan that Ethan is actually the ultimate Chad in the Resident Evil universe. And it's, without any military training whatsoever, Ethan has completely taken out an entire biohazard set, an entire biohazard area, which was the Swamp family. And then it was, Ethan has grown his hand back after having it cut off and stapled back on. Ethan is canonically the only male in the Resident Evil series to ever have had sex, aside from Barry. Like, there's this huge list of things that Ethan has done in one game that Leon and Chris have never done. And it's like a mile-long list.
Now they're like,
and now in Resident Evil The Village, he's gonna have an entire coven of witches drowning for him.
Oh my god, listen, I mean, correct though. Like, none of those things are like, I honestly think Leon, for what he looks like, has never seen a tit. Never.
Well, that's the joke, is he's a himbo.
Absolutely.
And that's why Ada loves him, is because he's that dumb.
I love it. I feel like it's like a fucking like like Luffy and this lady fucking...
Oh, Boa Hancock?
Yes. I feel like it's that literal relationship. Oh my goodness. Yes. So I believe that Ethan is also the ultimate Resident Evil Chad for sure.
Yeah. So it's Ethan's great. I honestly like Barry, but that's because I'm also like kind of a family guy, and so a family man.
You sure? Are you sure about that?
I love Barry. Yes. I love Barry. I know this is not going to be popular, and I'm surprised we didn't talk about it, but Revelations 2, in my opinion, was a phenomenal co-op game.
It was.
Because not only did you play 2 separate stories, both stories played wildly different.
Oh, yes. And, like, it wasn't like, oh my god. I was gonna go back to fucking going FromSoft and be like, remember when FromSoft did horror games? But yeah, no, I
actually don't. The first thing I remember from FromSoft is the Armored Core games.
Those were like the bare bones beginning, but they did 2 horror games, and
they did it Kuon and Echo.
Echo Knight, yeah. And then Kuon was much like that.
Oh, imagine that. It's another PS2 game from the quote-unquote golden era.
Yes, which is also impossible to find. The cover art is delicious, but anyway.
Though, I'm looking at this right now, and I've never played it, but Kuon doesn't look that interesting to me, because it just kind of looks like another Fatal Frame. Though the whole geisha side view of things is pretty interesting.
It was cool, Ben, but it was much like you're saying, it's 2 separate storylines, and then they all blend together with one final character, which I thought was really cool. Again, for seeing FromSoft dip their toes in horror, I think it was well done.
FromSoft, in my opinion, for a long time was a beautiful mess.
Yes.
Because they did Armored Core, and Armored Core, in my opinion, like, I know Dave will come choke me out, but Armored Core is the apex of mech combat games.
Oh my god,
they did Armored Core, they were doing these weird horror games, yeah, Kuon, they're doing all these things, and then all of a sudden they did Demon Souls, and they just figured it out, right there on the spot.
They're like, here's our niche, we're sticking to it.
Here's our niche, incredibly hard pseudo-platformer action RPGs.
Yes. But no,
you know what? I might actually give Echo Knight a chance, because horror games based in space stations is awesome.
Please, I'm that's another one that I'm after. That's like fucking $1 trillion. Oh my god.
The 2 that I'm after, one is $600 if you buy it brand new on eBay, or not brand new, but used in good condition, and the other one is $900, and it's Burning Rangers for the Sega Saturn, and Panzer Dragoon Saga for the Sega Saturn. Good luck getting either of those.
Oh my god. So, this is the worst thing I'm gonna admit today. I didn't have Panzer Dragoon Saga, but my cousin did in Cuba. And he was like, here's all these games. And I was like,
this story's already making me mad. I don't know if I want to hear it.
I literally was like, this looks retarded, and I gave it back to him. So I held your child in my hands, and I just put it aside.
I need you to get a hold of your cousin right now.
Let me just call Cuba. Hold on.
Message him on Discord. Be like, I got an American who will like gladly take this off your hands. I
know this nice Mormon man who will gladly remove this from your personage. Oh my god, no! I am gonna ask him definitely. I am gonna ask him definitely if he can give me that for sure.
I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, you can't even see, but I'm just angrily shaking at my desk right now.
Oh my god, dude, no. I will absolutely hit him up and see if I can provide that shit for you, because if he does still have it, then I'm sending that shit your way, because that's yours.
Perfect. Thank you.
But no, dude, and it just fucks me up like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's I will gladly pay for it. It's just I stopped collecting. I got Dragon Force 1 on the Sega Saturn. That was my big game for a long, long time. And I had like the entire Mega Man Legends trilogy, which includes the Misadventure of Tron Bonne, and I loved it. And I stopped collecting after a while. Like, I think the only collector's items we've bought this year was Death Stranding Special Edition and Cyberpunk 2077 Special Edition.
Okay.
But I stopped collecting, but those are the two games that will end my collection, is Panzer Dragoon Saga and Burning Rangers.
Dude, that's me with I had Haunting Ground. I had it, and now it's like $500, and I left it at an ex's house. And
monster.
I'm a rat because I don't speak to that man anymore. And I want to kill myself because I want it again, because I need to have all these old horror games, but I'm not willing to shell out like a quadrillion dollars to do it. I'm very lucky that I got Rule of Rose from a friend that like she moved and she's like, yeah, just fucking keep it. But dude, I would give anything to be able to replace it, because it is so scratched that this is interesting. On a skinny PS2, it won't play past a certain chapter. On a fat PS2, it'll run perfectly, which I've never really understood.
It's because they were actually developed differently.
Okay.
It's their hardware is slightly different. It's that. Yeah, I'm actually like, now you got me looking at them like, oh yeah, I got Thousand Arms. I have like all these old geriatric RPGs. Like I have one of the earliest dating sims.
What is it?
Thousand Arms is a dating sim where you have to date the girls so that you can make better equipment. You're a blacksmith, and your whole family has a tradition where they make blacksmithing equipment by using like a woman's love for them.
That sounds really cute, actually. What?
It's dumb. The main character is perverted as hell, and I could sell this thing for $120.
You might as well, dude. That sounds like Golden Boy with blacksmithing. If we remember that anime.
Golden Boy had some of the best animation, some of the porniest like content.
I miss Golden Boy. My God, that and like Tenchi Muyo were like my cool like bi awakenings as a child. I was like, titties are pretty neat.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up though, just because we've been at this forever. Holy crap!
Yeah, Jesus.
Even our main podcast, the episodes only last like an hour and 10 minutes these days.
Bro, when you get two retards together at the lunch table that become the most powerful ones in the room, so I guess that's us today.
Yeah. So if you guys want, you can follow Eileen on Twitter. Her Twitter is Manner of Sleep. I'll link it in the episode. She doesn't do anything on Twitter. She doesn't post anything. She just occasionally logs in every 2 weeks and likes everything I've posted in the last 2 weeks.
So I'll do the same for you. I'll like your selfies. I'm not an artist. I'm not in anything. I'm just happy to be here. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
So we'll let everybody go. You guys all have a wonderful day. Like I said, follow her Manner of Sleep on Twitter, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
So peace out,
for everybody
y'all.
at home, see you next time.
Bye-bye.